shocking revelation. Anna Devane uncovers Faison's final and most sinister project. A genetic nightmare emerges as Anna exposes the truth behind C to the world. Anna Devane has always been a step ahead of Danger, a legendary spy with a reputation for outsmarting her enemies. But nothing could have prepared Port Charles for what she discovered during her harrowing captivity. In a daring escape that would eventually shake the foundations of law enforcement and the intelligence community, Anna managed to steal what could be the most incriminating piece of evidence in years: a DNA sample from the mysterious man known only as C. What followed was a press conference that sent shockwaves through the city and revealed a truth so disturbing that even veteran investigators struggled to process it. The escape, a risky gamble. For weeks, Anna had been held captive under the watchful eye of Jen Sidwell and his associate Pascal, both working to silence her investigation into connections to the deceased criminal mastermind Caesar Faison. But Anna Devane didn't survive decades in the intelligence world by sitting idle. She spent her captivity meticulously observing her captors, looking for even the smallest opening, a moment of negligence, a routine she could exploit. That moment came when C made a critical mistake. During what appeared to be a routine interaction, he inadvertently allowed Anna to get close enough to collect a sample of his DNA. Whether it was a strand of hair, a discarded item, or something equally mundane, Anna seized the opportunity with the precision of a trained operative. She concealed the evidence on her person, knowing full well that what she possessed could be the key to not only her freedom, but the exposure of something far larger than anyone had imagined. I knew this would be dangerous, Anna later reflected in private conversations with trusted colleagues. But I also knew no one would believe me without proof. Hard evidence. Something undeniable. Her escape plan was executed with military precision, on a night when her guards were momentarily distracted, whether by design or fortune. Anna made her move. She didn't run blindly into the streets of Port Charles. Instead, she ran directly to the one person she knew could help her, Dr. Andre Maddox, whose laboratory expertise and discretion were beyond question. "Get me access to your most secure lab," Anna instructed as she arrived at his door. "I need a full genetic analysis, and I need it now. This can't wait for standard procedures." Andre's expression shifted from concern to alarm as Anna handed him the sample. He'd seen enough in his medical career to understand that the urgency in Anna's voice wasn't mere anxiety, it was the controlled urgency of someone who had just uncovered something catastrophic. The results, a scientific impossibility. Dr. Maddox worked through the night, running tests and cross-referencing data against every sample in his database. As the hours passed and the results accumulated, he found himself in uncharted territory. His phone calls to Anna grew increasingly tense. "Anna, this isn't possible," he said during one conversation, his voice barely above a whisper. "You need to come back to the lab. The results, they don't make sense." "What do you mean they don't make sense?" Anna pressed. "The DNA is clear, isn't it?" "Whose is it?" "That's the problem," Andre replied carefully. "It's a perfect genetic match, but not to anyone in the conventional sense. The genetic analysis revealed something that seemed to defy nature itself. The man known as C was a genetic clone, a perfect replica created from the combined DNA of two people." As the final results came through, Andre's hands actually trembled as he looked at the printout. The genome was a precise fusion of two distinct DNA profiles, Caesar Faison's and Anna Devane's. Anna nearly collapsed when Andre delivered the full implications of the discovery. "During my captivity decades ago," she said quietly, the realization hitting her like a physical blow. "Faison didn't just imprison me. He was conducting genetic experiments. He was creating someone using my DNA combined with his own. My God, C is a biological son. My son! A son I never knew existed, created in a laboratory from the worst elements of both our genetic legacies." The press conference exposing the darkness. 3 days later, Anna stood before a hastily assembled press conference in Port Charles. The room was packed with journalists, law enforcement officials, and curious citizens. Behind her stood Dr. Andre Maddox, who had verified the results and was prepared to answer technical questions. The police commissioner's office had granted Anna unprecedented access to make the announcement due to the gravity of the situation. For years, Anna began, her voice steady despite the storm raging internally. I investigated the possibility that Caesar Faison possessed unfinished projects. References to something called the final project appeared in encrypted communications, in the notes of his associates, and in the confessions of those who worked for him. Today, I am here to confirm what many feared and none could have fully anticipated. She presented the genetic evidence, explained the methodology, and allowed the scientific data to speak for itself. The room erupted in questions before she could even finish her opening statement. Anna, are you saying you have a biological son you knew nothing about? A reporter shouted. That's exactly what I'm saying, Anna confirmed. A son created through genetic manipulation. A son who carries within him Faison's intelligence and his absolute capacity for cruelty, combined with my own genetic contributions. Who is C? A genetic nightmare. The revelation sent shockwaves through Port Charles immediately. The man known as C was now revealed as something unprecedented in the city's history, a perfectly engineered human being, created to combine the worst traits of two of the most dangerous people in the region's intelligence and criminal underworld. He was designed, Anna explained to a closed-door meeting with the WSB and local law enforcement, designed by Faison to be the ultimate operative. My strategic mind and training potential, coupled with Faison's sociopathic tendencies and his complete disregard for human life. He's not insane in a way we can predict. He's methodical, he's brilliant, and he has been operating with one clear objective: to destroy everything and everyone I hold dear. For those who knew Anna's history, the implications were staggering. C inherited Anna's intelligence and her understanding of spycraft. She had trained agents, worked at the highest levels of international intelligence, and possessed a tactical mind that had saved countless lives. But he also inherited Faison's pathological need for control, his complete emotional detachment, and his sadistic pleasure in causing suffering. This isn't someone you can reason with, Anna told the assembled officials. This is someone who was genetically engineered to be unreasonable, to be cold, to be without conscience. The threat to Drew Cain. But the revelation of C's existence was only the beginning. Through careful investigation and interrogation of those who had been manipulated by C's network, authorities uncovered his current agenda, a methodical plan to destroy those Anna cared about most. At the top of that list was Drew Cain. He's not just trying to kill Drew, Anna explained to a small group that included Jason Morgan and law enforcement officials. He's trying to make Drew suffer the way he believes I've caused suffering. He's replicating Faison's operational patterns, psychological torture before the endgame. C had already set elaborate traps. He had cultivated assets, created false evidence, and manipulated circumstances to position Drew in an increasingly precarious situation. Whether through blackmail, legal manipulation, or more direct methods, C was methodically working to destroy the life that Drew Cain had built. He studies people like Faison did, Jason Morgan noted grimly after reviewing the evidence. He finds their weaknesses and exploits them. Anna nodded. That's exactly what he's doing. And the difference between C and every other operative or criminal we've faced is that he has the intelligence to think 10 steps ahead and the complete moral vacancy to execute those plans. Without hesitation or remorse, the city reacts. News of C's existence spread through Port Charles like wildfire. Medical ethics experts debated the implications of the genetic engineering that created him. Law enforcement scrambled to understand the full extent of his network and operations. The intelligence community grappled with the reality that one of their most dangerous enemies was a genetic hybrid designed specifically to be unstoppable. This changes everything we thought we knew about Faison's operations, one senior WASB official remarked. He wasn't just planning crimes. He was building a legacy, creating the perfect agent. For Anna, the revelation was both vindication and haunting. She had been right about Faison's final project, but the truth was far worse than anything she could have imagined. The man hunting her loved ones wasn't simply a criminal mastermind. He was a biological nightmare proof that human beings could be engineered just as easily as weapons. As Port Charles grappled with this shocking revelation, one thing became clear: the hunt for C had shifted from a law enforcement matter to something more fundamental. They weren't just searching for a criminal. They were searching for the living embodiment of one woman's worst fear and one dead criminal's darkest ambition. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test not only the institutions designed to protect Port Charles, but the very people like Cain and Anna Devane who stood in C's path. Next, we're diving deep into a remarkable tribute that the show has prepared for fans as we step into the new year. The daytime television landscape has shifted dramatically following the passing of one of its most iconic performers, and General Hospital is honoring this legacy in a way that resonates with millions of devoted followers worldwide. Let's explore how the Port Charles institution is commemorating Anthony Geary's contributions to television history through a special rebroadcast of Luke Spencer's final moments on screen. The end of an era, Anthony Geary's legacy, and December 14th remembrance. The soap opera world received devastating news on December 14th when Anthony Geary, the legendary actor who portrayed Luke Spencer for decades, passed away. This loss reverberated throughout the entire entertainment industry and left an indelible mark on General Hospital's devoted fanbase. Rather than allowing this moment to pass quietly, ABC's venerable daytime drama decided to celebrate the actor's extraordinary career by revisiting the emotional farewell episode that saw Luke Spencer exit Port Charles in a way befitting the character's complex, tumultuous journey. Geary's departure from daytime television was not a sudden disappearance, but rather a carefully crafted narrative conclusion that allowed viewers to witness Luke's transformation and ultimate quest for self-discovery. The character's final bow came after navigating through years of psychological trauma, personal demons, and the weight of being one of television's most beloved anti-heroes. For a performer who had invested so much of his life into bringing Luke to the screen, this farewell represented both an ending and a testament to the incredible storytelling that General Hospital had developed over multiple decades. Luke's journey from Port Charles legend to international man of mystery. To truly understand the significance of Luke Spencer's farewell, we must examine the intricate circumstances surrounding his departure from Port Charles in 2015. Luke wasn't simply written off the show or dispatched in a dramatic death scene instead. He was given a narrative that honored his character's complexity and the lifetime of experiences he had accumulated. The decision to leave Port Charles stemmed from Luke's ongoing struggle with dissociative identity disorder, a psychological condition that had plagued him since childhood, and the deeply rooted trauma that had shaped his entire existence. Luke's farewell episode masterfully weaved together the threads of his mysterious past, his multiple personalities, and his lifelong quest to understand who he truly was beneath all the layers of pain and fractured memories. The character decided that remaining in Port Charles, surrounded by familiar faces and familiar pain, was no longer the path to healing. Instead, Luke made the profound decision to embark on a journey of self-discovery, traveling the world in search of inner peace and a sense of coherence within his fragmented psyche. This departure was not abandonment, but rather a courageous step toward redemption, a journey that fans understood and ultimately respected, even as they mourned the character's absence from their screens. However, Luke's exit from Port Charles proved to be less permanent than initially expected. The character made a remarkable return in 2017, making a special appearance during Jane Elliott's farewell as Tracy Quartermain. This brief but poignant reunion between Luke and Tracy offered fans one final moment to witness the complicated, often contentious relationship between two characters who, despite their numerous conflicts and passionate arguments, shared an undeniable bond that transcended typical soap opera romance. That unexpected return showed the writer's commitment to providing characters with meaningful conclusions and demonstrated that even in the world of soap operas, sometimes stories that seem finished can offer one last precious moment, celebrating Luke's greatest moments, fan tributes, and cherished memories. In the wake of Anthony Geary's passing, General Hospital's devoted fanbase has initiated a touching grassroots movement to honor the actor's immeasurable contributions to television history. Social media platforms, particularly X, have become virtual memorial walls where longtime viewers are sharing their favorite Luke Spencer moments, discussing specific episodes that resonated with them emotionally, and celebrating the character's evolution throughout the decades. These fan tributes serve as a collective acknowledgement of how deeply Luke Spencer penetrated the hearts and minds of television audiences across multiple generations. One particularly poignant memory that fans have resurfaced is a clip from Luke's initial farewell in 1983, during the show's early golden era when the character was preparing to embark on travels round the globe alongside Laura Webber. This scene carried additional emotional weight because it featured Luke saying a tender goodbye to his beloved sister, Bobby Spencer, a moment that highlighted the familial bonds that, despite all the turmoil and conflict in Luke's life, remained fundamentally important to his identity. The 1983 farewell hinted at the wanderlust and adventurous spirit that would eventually define Luke's character throughout the decades to come, making it a thematically resonant parallel to his 2015 departure. Another cherished memory that emerged during this tribulation period involved Luke and Elizabeth Webber sharing a specially crafted Christmas moment in 1999. Fans specifically recalled this scene because it occurred during one of the soap's most emotionally charged storylines, a period when Elizabeth's son, Lucky, was believed to be dead. In this poignant Christmas episode, Luke and Elizabeth found themselves seeking comfort in each other's company, sharing a moment of quiet reflection and mutual understanding during a season traditionally associated with family reunions and festive celebration. This scene represented Luke at his most compassionate, demonstrating that beneath the gruff exterior and troubled past lay a character capable of profound empathy and genuine human connection. The year 2010 brought another significant milestone in Luke's romantic journey, his wedding to Tracy on December 22nd. Fans marked the 15th anniversary of this nuptial event with considerable enthusiasm, sharing clips and memories of Luke and Tracy's unexpected union. This marriage represented the culmination of years of complex interactions between two strong-willed individuals who had spent decades clashing and competing in Port Charles's various business, romantic, and social arenas. Their wedding symbolized a transformation in both characters, suggesting that even to people shaped by decades of conflict and competition could find unexpected common ground and genuine affection for one another. The icon that changed television forever, Luke and Robert Driscoll, as fans continued their nostalgic journey through Luke's greatest television moments. Several devotees highlighted what they termed classic Luke and Robert scenes, paying homage to the iconic pairing of two late General Hospital legends. The dynamic between Luke Spencer and Robert Driscoll represented one of the soap opera's most memorable romances, a complex relationship oscillating between friendship, rivalry, betrayal, and deep-seated loyalty. These scenes showcased the remarkable chemistry between two actors who understood how to deliver dialogue with genuine emotional heft while maintaining the melodramatic flair that defines the daytime television medium. The friendship, or perhaps more accurately, the complicated brotherhood between Luke and Robert, transcended simple plot mechanics. Their interactions contain layers of subtext, acknowledging years of shared history, mutual respect mixed with competitive tension, and the kind of understanding that only develops between two characters who have literally saved each other's lives on multiple occasions. Whether they were working together on an elaborate con, disagreeing passionately over a moral dilemma, or simply sharing a drink and reflecting on their lives, Luke and Robert's scenes represented some of General Hospital's finest character-driven storytelling. The loss of both these characters has left a palpable void in Port Charles, and fans recognize that their dynamic will likely never be replicated with the same authenticity and nuance. The wedding that transcended television. Luke and Laura's monumental November 16, 1981. If any single moment defines Luke Spencer's legacy and his monumental impact on the entire daytime television landscape, it would undoubtedly be his wedding to Laura Weber on November 16, 1981. This episode represents not merely a pivotal storyline within General Hospital's narrative, but rather a cultural phenomenon that captured the imagination of mainstream media and the general American public in unprecedented ways. The numbers alone speak to the episode's staggering impact. Approximately 30 million viewers tuned in to witness Luke and Laura exchange vows, a viewership figure that has never been matched or exceeded by any subsequent daytime or primetime television couple. The significance of this wedding transcended the typical boundaries of soap opera fandom. Luke and Laura were not simply characters restricted to the dedicated audience of daytime television enthusiasts. They became household names recognized and discussed by individuals who had never watched General Hospital and had no particular interest in soap operas. Major newspapers covered the event as if it were a significant cultural milestone. Television news programs featured segments discussing the phenomenon. The wedding penetrated the consciousness of American popular culture in a way that fundamentally transformed how the entertainment industry viewed daytime programming and the dedicated audiences who cherished these shows. The phenomenon surrounding Luke and Laura's wedding can be attributed to several convergent factors. First, both characters had evolved into complex, deeply compelling figures whose individual journeys and personal struggles had captivated viewers throughout their developing relationship. Luke's transformation from criminal mastermind to genuine romantic hero represented an extraordinarily nuanced character arc that audiences embraced enthusiastically. Laura's own journey involving her previous marriage, her romantic connections to multiple men, and her gradual realization that Luke represented her truest soulmate gave their union substantial emotional weight rather than mere plot convenience. Second, the writing around Luke and Laura's relationship possessed a genuine romantic quality that resonated across demographic boundaries. The dialogue between these characters crackled with authentic emotion, witty banter, passionate debate, and genuine moments of tenderness. Their love story contained all the elements of compelling romance: obstacles, opposition, near-tragic separations, passionate reconciliations, and an underlying sense that these two individuals were fundamentally meant to find their way to one another despite the universe's apparent determination to keep them apart. The cultural phenomenon that changed daytime television forever. One devoted General Hospital fan eloquently articulated the unprecedented significance of Luke and Laura's wedding by stating, "Luke and Laura were not just a soap couple, they were brought out into the mainstream media. Even people who didn't watch soaps knew who they were. It was a culture phenomenon. 30 million people watched their wedding. It'll never be done again for a couple in daytime or prime time." This assessment perfectly captures the extraordinary uniqueness of that moment in television history. The early 1980s represented a particular moment when daytime soap operas occupied a more central position in American entertainment consciousness. Before cable fragmentation and the internet dispersed audience attention across countless entertainment options, the wedding episode itself was meticulously crafted to deliver maximum emotional impact. The ceremony showcased elaborate production values, carefully selected music, meaningful dialogue, and powerful performances from Rick Springfield and the entire supporting cast. Luke and Laura's vows represented a genuine emotional commitment between two actors and characters who had developed an undeniable chemistry throughout their scenes together. The wedding dress, designed specifically for this momentous occasion, became iconic in its own right. Every detail had been considered and perfected to ensure that this episode would transcend typical soap opera storytelling and become something genuinely momentous. A missed opportunity. Could Luke and Laura reach new audiences? Following this recognition of the unprecedented cultural impact that Luke and Laura's 1981 wedding achieved, One thoughtful fan proposed an intriguing suggestion directed toward ABC. ABC, why don't you air Luke and Laura's wedding on prime time? So many people have heard about it. They would tune in just to see it for themselves. This proposal raises fascinating questions about the enduring cultural resonance of this particular television moment and the possibility of introducing this legendary storyline to contemporary audiences who may have never witnessed it during its original broadcast. The suggestion possesses considerable merit when examined from multiple angles. Contemporary streaming technology, social media recommendations, and the documented cultural interest in classic television make it entirely plausible that rebroadcasting Luke and Laura's wedding during primetime hours could attract substantial viewership. There exists an entire generation of television enthusiasts who have heard about this wedding's legendary status but have never actually watched it. Additionally, Luke and Laura's story possesses a timeless quality, the emotional core of their romance, the obstacles they faced, and the ultimate triumph of their love story transcend the specific decade of the early 1980s. Furthermore, such a primetime rebroadcast could serve multiple purposes simultaneously. It would honor Anthony Geary's memory by presenting one of his most significant and celebrated performances to audiences who might not regularly watch General Hospital. It would acknowledge the enduring legacy of daytime television and the soap opera genre's contributions to entertainment history. It would demonstrate ABC's commitment to celebrating its own programming heritage and recognizing the value of this particular moment in television history. Looking forward, Luke's farewell episode and 2026's tribute. As General Hospital's fans prepare for the January 1st rebroadcast of Luke's farewell episode, they approach this moment with a bittersweet mixture of emotions. The episode will serve as both a celebration of Anthony Geary's remarkable career and a poignant reminder of the actor's recent passing. For many viewers, watching Luke Spencer's final departure from Port Charles will carry heightened emotional significance, transforming what was originally a character exit into something more profound, a farewell, not only to a beloved television character, but also to the actor who brought him to life with such extraordinary dedication and nuance. The decision by ABC and General Hospital to rebroadcast Luke's farewell during New Year's weekend demonstrates the show's commitment to honoring both its legendary characters and the performers who made them unforgettable, rather than allowing Anthony Geary's passing to pass with only routine acknowledgement. The network has created an opportunity for fans to revisit and celebrate the complete arc of Luke Spencer's journey throughout his decades on the program. This gesture acknowledges that Luke Spencer, in all his complexity, his flaws, his heroism, and his contradictions, represents one of daytime television's most significant and enduring creations. For longtime General Hospital fans, January 1st will provide an opportunity to engage collectively in a ritualistic remembrance of one of television's true icons. The rebroadcast will allow viewers to experience Luke's farewell not as isolated individuals watching on their own television sets, but as members of a global community united in their appreciation for a character whose impact transcended the medium itself. Anthony Geary's portrayal of Luke Spencer established a standard for character development, emotional authenticity, and complex dramatic acting in daytime television that remains relevant even today. Don't miss Luke's farewell episode as General Hospital pays tribute to Anthony Geary and celebrates the remarkable legacy he left behind through his legendary portrayal of Luke Spencer. This special rebroadcast represents more than merely a television episode. It stands as a testament to the power of compelling storytelling, complex character development, and the dedication of performers who commit themselves fully to their craft. Whether you're a devoted General Hospital enthusiast who watched Luke Spencer's journey unfold across decades or someone discovering this iconic character for the first time, the January 1st rebroadcast offers a rare opportunity to witness a transformative moment in daytime television history while honoring an actor who fundamentally changed the landscape of soap opera entertainment.